Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am Berin Romagnolo, and I head the business immigration practice here at Aaron Fox Schiff. This is our second episode of the LinkedIn Live series, Berin's Business Immigration Breakdown. It's going to be a quick afternoon break, just 15 or 20 minutes to go over some new and noteworthy things in the business immigration world. Today, we have three important topics, so we're going to get going pretty quickly. This is what we're going to cover. First, we're going to talk about the new H-1B lottery selection criteria. That's going to be coming up pretty soon on March 6th, so we'll talk about that first. Then we're going to talk about the new online filing system for the H-1B applications. And lastly, we'll cover the new increased filing fees that are going live on April 1st. Let's start with the lottery. The lottery is for the H-1B work visa. The H-1B work visa is the most common work visa for professional level jobs in the United States for foreign national workers. It is for jobs generally that require a bachelor's degree, and the foreign national worker must have a relevant degree to meet that criteria. The government limits the number of H-1B visas that they issue each year, and they limit it to 65,000 visas and another additional 20,000 if you have a master's or higher from a U.S. college or university. Because there's a limit and there's so many more people that want them than the number of visas allowed, there's a lottery every year. The government conducts a lottery every March. And in order to enter the lottery, you have to register for the lottery between the dates that the government will tell you every year. This year, it is March 6th to the 22nd. So you put in your lottery registration between March 6th and the 22nd, and then they conduct a computer-generated random lottery to figure out whose applications will be picked. You'll find out by the end of March if you're picked or not. If you're picked, you have 90 days, generally April 1st to June 30th, to put in your full H-1B application and then find out if you have been awarded one of the H-1Bs for this fiscal year or not. They have changed the way that the lottery will be conducted this year. Now it will be a beneficiary-centric program, they call it. So in prior years, you could go to a foreign national worker, go to a bunch of different employers and ask them to sponsor them for an H-1B. The next one, ask them to sponsor you for an H-1B, ask them to sponsor you for an H-1B, and get 3, 4, 5 different lottery registrations for the same employee. So they got 3, 4, 5 bites at the apple in the lottery. The Immigration Service thought that was not fair. It gave them an unfair advantage. And so they changed it to a beneficiary-centric program. What that means is now, this year in March, when you enter people's registrations into the lottery, all of the registrations will be clumped together by beneficiary. So instead of picking an employer's registration, they'll be picking an employee's name. They'll be picking it by beneficiary employee name. So the one employee who has 3 or 4 or 5 employers that put in a bid for them will have one shot at the apple, just like everyone else. They'll be all accumulated all together, and you get one lottery ticket per employee. Then if that employee is picked in the lottery, all of the employers that put in a bid for that employee will get a notice saying that they were picked, and every one of those employers will have an opportunity to put in a full H-1B application for them by June 30th, and then the employee can choose which employer they want to work for. That is quite a bit of a difference from every other year before. Again, is to eliminate the advantage that employees had in prior years by having multiple employers putting in bids for them. The other big change in this year's lottery registration is to make it more secure by identifying employees by their passport numbers. So now employers have to put in each employee's passport number, and that passport number has to match the same passport number that they're going to use when they file their full application if picked in the lottery. What that means for you as a worker is that you should go ahead and extend your passports now if they're about to expire. Because although the Immigration Service has discretion to allow a new passport number later on when you put in your full application, if, for example, you do it for a renewal of an expired passport, it's only discretionary. They may also have the discretion to decide they're not going to accept that new passport number, because the general rule is that the passport number you use to go into the lottery has to be the same passport number that you use when you file your full application. So a best practice tip, get your passports renewed now, so there's no blip in the system by using two different passport numbers. Another thing to think about are dual citizens with more than one passport. They have said that a beneficiary, an employee, cannot use two different passports to get two bites at the apple, two lottery tickets with two different passports. You still cannot do that. They will be knocked out of the system for fraudulent applications. You pick which passport you're going to use, and that's the one you're going to use all the way through the application process if you're picked. In the past, in the lottery, you would get a one-time representative passcode. So you submit the lottery application online. The lawyer will get a one-time code that we would have to tell the client, the employer. They would have to use that one-time code to log in and review the forms and approve them before you can submit the lottery registration application. That passcode system is gone, which, trust me, is a huge benefit because it has caused many problems in the past, and some of which were very difficult to overcome. So getting rid of that passcode system was a huge benefit to employers. That is the overview of the lottery system and the changes to the lottery system. But let me quickly tell you who is exempt from the lottery. You only have to go into this lottery if you're going in for your first ever H-1B. So for example, the most common lottery registrant is a recent foreign graduate from a US school. They were here as an F1 student. They finished their program, they graduated, and they want to stay and work here. So they need some work visa to stay and work here after graduation. They are going for their first ever H-1B, and therefore they go into the lottery. That's the most typical lottery applicant. There are definitely other categories of people that go into the lottery as well, but that's the most typical. Who is exempt from the lottery? Once you get your first ever H-1B lottery admission, you can transfer H-1B employers anytime you want. No more lottery. You can transfer between employers, no problem, anytime. Same thing with extensions. Once you get your first ever H-1B, you can extend it as many times as you want, no problem. You can do it anytime you want. Who else is exempt from the lottery? Colleges and universities do not have to go into lottery. They can hire professional level people anytime they want. Nonprofit institutions affiliated with college or university, like a teaching hospital, exempt from the lottery. They can hire H-1Bs anytime they want. Nonprofit research organizations, they can hire people anytime they want. They're exempt from the lottery. Let's cover the second big topic of the day, which is the online filing system. So a lot of things have been going paperless. A lot of things have been going electronic. Immigration has been very slow in adopting that process. There's very, very few categories of immigration benefits that you can apply for online. Very small percentage of them. Almost everything is still paper filed, stacks of paper put in the mail, and then they scan it when they receive it. But one big change is that they are starting to allow people to file H-1B applications online starting on February 28th. So that's coming up next week. This is very exciting. They say that the processing times are going to be the same whether you file online or whether you do the paper version, but there will be some benefits to filing online. Some are the fees, which we'll go over in a minute. It's cheaper to file online. And there will be still some time saving. Even though they say the processing times are going to be the same, there's still going to be some time saving if you file online, because they will get the application immediately, so you don't have to have a gap waiting for the mail to get there. And there will not be a gap in time waiting for someone who receives the mail at the immigration service to scan it into the system, because it's already automatically in the system when you file online. So there's an already automatic time saving if you file online. This online filing system is only going to be available for H-1Bs, not H-4s. H-4s are the H-1Bs, spouse and children. They are not eligible for online filing. What does that mean? That means if you're going to file an H-1B application for a family, the H-1B worker and their spouse and kids, you can't do it online. Well, you could, but it won't work for you, because if you file online, you're only filing the H-1B. Then you have to file the H-4 for everyone else on paper, and they won't match them up. So, for example, if you file an H-1B with premium processing, which is expedited processing, and you file it with a family member, the family member gets the benefit of the expedited processing as well. But because you have to split them up, H-1B online, H-4 on paper, that premium processing benefit that goes to the H-1B will not relate to the H-4. So it makes no sense really to file an H-1B and an H-4 separately with the H-1B online and the H-4 on paper. Instead, best practice is to file the whole thing together so they don't get separated in paper with paper filing fees. That still sounds old school, but that is the best way to do it so that the whole family stays together and is processed together. And if you file with premium processing, the whole family gets the benefit of the premium processing. If you file online, you can file with premium processing. And if you file online, you file regular processing, you have the option to upgrade it to premium processing later if you want to speed it up later. If you file a paper H-1B, you do not have the option to upgrade it to premium processing online later. If you file paper, you have to file paper premium processing request. So however you start is how you finish. You start on paper filing, you finish with paper filing. You start online filing, you finish with online filing. So you should choose from the beginning what system you want to do. How is this online filing going to work? Well, there are two groups of people. There are the employer side group and the legal team. The group company is going to, the company group is going to be set up for all the people within the client, that's the employer. And the legal team is going to be set up with all the people at the law firm that's going to be working with the company group to get these filings done. Those are the two groups that you need to set up, the company group and the legal team. The company group is made up of two kinds of people, the administrator and the members. The administrator is the most impactful person because they are the ones that can approve and sign all the forms. Members can help gather the documents and the information and help start forms or review forms. They cannot sign, submit, or pay anything. It's only the administrator that can do that at the company group. Therefore, at best practice, have at least two administrators in the company group. So if the one administrator is out on leave or is out on vacation or is sick or something happens that is not available, there's at least one backup administrator who can sign and get things out the door. The administrators do not have to have the same company FEIN, meaning if you are working for a large company, you can have an administrator, an HR person, or a legal in-house person from this company be an administrator and from the parent company over that person be an administrator. They don't have to be from the same legal entity. You can have administrators from various legal entities all together in the same company group. The legal team. The legal team is the second group that has to be set up for this online filing to work. The legal team will have one lawyer and as many paralegals as they want underneath them. The paralegals, just like the members in the company group, will have very limited access. And what they can do, they can help gather documents and submit draft documents and review documents. They have no authority to sign, submit, or pay for filings. Only the legal representative, the lawyer, has the authority to do that. How do you set it up? It's all through my USCIS, the website that has a login. You log in and all of these accounts will be housed in that one website. And this is a good spot where I can mention to you to go to the events page on the LinkedIn and you will see all these helpful links about everything that I'm talking about today, including the My USCIS link. It is there in the comments section to my LinkedIn events page. So if you go to My USCIS, you log in, you can create the company group and you can draft up the legal team group. Best practice on how to do this. The company can create their own company group, but it seems best if you're already working with a law firm to have the legal team set up the company group for you. For that to happen, there has to be an open communication between the company, employer, and the legal team to figure out who they want the administrators to be. Once you know who the administrators and their email addresses are, the legal team can set up the company group and the legal team entity. And as soon as the legal team sets up the administrators for the company group, that administrator will get an email saying you have been designated an administrator by someone. Click here to approve and accept that assignment. So then the administrator at the employer site will be able to click on that link in the email, accept being an administrator in that company group, and then can invite any member they want from their company to help them with the preparation of the filings. So again, best practice in my view is to have the lawyer set up the legal team and then start each company group that they work with all the administrators per company group. And then the administrators of the company will get emails to accept those designations. Important note, the company will only have 7 days to accept that invitation. When the administrator gets the email that they've been designated as an administrator in a company group, they have 7 days to accept that. If the 7 days expire, then the legal team just has to send another invitation. Not the end of the world, but that's the time lapse that they give you to be able to set up the new company group. Do you have to use the same people that have been used before in prior lottery submissions? For example, my USCIS is the same website that we've been using for a few years now to do the online lottery submissions. So a lot of companies who have already submitted lottery submissions in past years already have someone that has been the designated person on my USCIS to approve these lottery submissions online. They already have someone working with my USCIS. Does it have to be the same person that they've been using? Does not. You can decide whoever you want to be the company group administrator who's going to be signing the new H-1B forms going forward. Does not have to be who it was in the past, or sometimes you can't remember what email you used in the past. Doesn't matter, just set it up again. Or sometimes you can't remember the login from the email in the past years. Doesn't matter, you can just set it up again. It's okay. The only downfall is that if you don't use the same email that you've used in the past years as a company administrator for doing past H-1B lottery registrations, the only wrinkle is that you won't see the historical data on who submitted an H-1B applications years past. That's really not such a big deal in my view, so it's okay. It's absolutely fine if you can't remember what email address you used in the past, if you can't remember what the login is that went with that email address, not a problem. It's okay. Just set up a new email with the company group and everything will go through easily. In the link, in my comments, there is a link there to give you some website webinars from the Immigration Service that show you how to do this whole company group setup and the legal team setup. There's a listing in one of the links in the comments to this events page that gives you all the upcoming talks from the Immigration Service on how to set up this system. How do you review forms that have already been drafted? So best practice, if you're working with a law firm, the law firm will set up the legal team, invite the company group administrators, accept the invitations within 7 days and then add in whoever members that they want. Then the legal team can start drafting H-1B applications. They can start doing them on February 28th, except for lottery ones. Lottery ones can't be submitted until April 1st. When the legal team starts an H-1B lottery application or a regular application, like a transfer or an extension of an existing H-1B application, they will draft it and then they will submit it, and the administrator will automatically get a link saying that there has been an application that has been drafted for one of your employees, and they will get a link to click on and review the G28 I-129, which are the forms that go along with an H-1B application, and they will go through and review it online on the screen, correct any errors there are, and then it'll go submit it there, and then it'll go straight back to the legal team. When the company administrator reviews all the forms and hits submit, the legal team will get a notification saying that someone has already reviewed it. It's ready for you to review again and submit and pay. So it's all done by digital handshakes, they call it. So the legal team will draft it, hit submit. The administrator will get an email saying it's time for you to review. They will review it, hit submit. We'll get another email saying it's time for you to review and pay. We'll click the link and we'll submit it and sign it and pay it on your behalf. Companies are not allowed to pay it if the legal team has started it. So we will pay it, and then notices. Notices, another benefit with this online system. The notices that we get, like a receipt notice, like an approval notice, they will all be electronic. You will also get them in the mail, but it'll be snail mail. so it'll be days later. Online, you'll get them within 72 hours. Within 72 hours, you will get an email saying some action has been taken on your case. And when you get that email, you can log into your My USCIS account and see what the notice is. You get a copy of the receipt notice, the approval notice, any other notice immediately on your screen, much faster than waiting for snail mail. And the one wrinkle with that is that email you get that tells you that there's been an action taken on your case, it doesn't tell you which case it is. So for example, if you filed for 5 H-1Bs for 5 different employees, you will get one email saying that an action was taken on your case. I don't know which of those 5 employees the action was taken on. So when you go into My USCIS, you kind of have to scroll through all of your cases to see which one has a bolded notice provision on it that says that an action has been taken. USCIS has told us that they're going to be trying to fix that so that when we get the email, it'll notify us which case they're talking about that the action has been taken on. But as of right now, it's a blind email and you have to go in yourself and kind of search through your case log to see which one had an action taken on it. If the company starts the form, then the legal team cannot review it. So best practice, if you're working with a law firm, have the legal team start the forms, not the company, because we will be blocked from helping you if the company starts the form. If the company has a My USCIS account from years past, best practice, do not log into that My USCIS account right now. Let your legal team set your company group up with you as an administrator, wait for that invitation by email, and then accept the invitation. That way, you won't be locked out of the system. Last and final big topic of the day for you guys, increased filing fees. So I believe the last filing fee increase was in 2016. The government has decided that it is time to increase, sometimes quite substantially, the filing fees that we pay for all of their immigration benefits. In the comments to this LinkedIn event, you will see a link to the table of all of the increased filing fees. So you can go there and see all of it. There will also be a chart there that tells you what percentage change there is in the filing fees. In addition to the filing fees, there's been an additional charge. The government has been behind on processing cases because they've had to shift a lot of people's workflow to work on asylum cases. There's been a great influx of asylum cases, they have said, and therefore it's been taking people away from working on business immigration, work visa cases. So what they've done is set up this asylum program, and now there is an asylum program fee, $600 for almost every work visa and work-based green card application. So for almost every work visa and green card application that is employment-based, there'll be a new fee, the asylum program fee that you'll have to pay. And if you're a small employer, meaning that you have less than 25 full-time employees, then you'll have to pay half of that asylum program fee, $300. If you are a nonprofit, you're exempt from the asylum program fee. You don't have to pay any additional fee. So on top of the increased filing fees, you do have this asylum program fee of $600 you have to think about as well for all work visas. One benefit is that almost all visas, or many of the work visas, allow you to take a $50 deduction if you file online versus paper. They really want to encourage the online filing, and they're doing that by saying it's $50 cheaper for you if you file online. Let me give you a few of the highlights of what the increased filing fees are. H-1Bs were $460 for the filing fee. It's going up to $780, $50 less if you file online. That's a 70% increase in H-1B filing fees. If you're a small employer, less than 25 full-time employees, or if you're a nonprofit, no change in the filing fee. It stays at $460, no change. One difference with this new filing fee chart is that all work visas pretty much had the same filing fee, that $460. They all had that same fee. Now, under the new system, you'll see in the chart that has a link in my comments. Every different category of work visa has their own filing fee amount. They've broken it down by different work visa categories. So in the past, the L1 work visa was the same as H-1B, $460. Now it has gone up 201% to $1,385. Don't forget $600 asylum program fee. So yes, 201% increase in L1 visas to $1,385. If you are a small employer, which is under 25 full-time employees, you only have a 51% increase to $695. They've increased also the fee for the spousal visas. You know, the H4s are the spouses of the H-1Bs, the L2s are the spouses of the L1s. It used to be $370 for the spousal visa. It has gone up 14% to $470 now for the spousal visa, the family visa. And if you do it online, you get a $50 deduction, $420. Employment-based green cards have also gone up, not as much as the work visas. There's been a bigger percentage increase on the work visas, lesser percentage increase on the employment-based green cards. I-140, which is one of the steps of the green card process for an employment-based green card, it was $700. It's only going up 2%, up to $715. There is a $600 asylum program fee on top of that. The 485, which is the last step of the green card process for everyone, that was $1,225. It has gone up 18% to $1,440, but more than that. In the past, when you filed for your last step of the green card process called the I-485, you could lump in all for the same fee, an application for employment authorization called an EAD card, and an application for travel authorization called advanced parole. So because the green card process takes so long, you could, at the same time they file for the green card, ask for interim work authorization and interim travel authorization, an EAD card, and advanced parole. Now they separated it all out. It used to be all together with one fee, $1,225. Now, just the 485 is $1,440. You have to pay separately for the EAD, which is $420 for the EAD, or if you file it along with the 45, it's $260. And the advanced parole is now also a separate fee, whereas before it was lumped in. Now it's separate at $630. So everything really has gone up in price. And one of the main reasons why is because the USCIS is a fee-based agency. Our fees, the fees that we pay along with these applications, is what pays the workers at the Immigration Service to adjudicate our petitions. So things have been slowing down, applications numbers have been increasing. They needed to get more people employed. They need to be able to raise people's wages for the cost of living increases. You know, there's more programs. In order to fund all of that, they increase the filing fees. One last thing I wanted to mention that's also going to be effective April 1st, just like the rest of this flat fee schedule. April 1st is the effective date for it. The last thing I want to mention is the premium processing program. The premium processing program is a program where you could pay the government to expedite your application processing. For example, an H-1B application might normally take 4 to 6 months. If you pay extra in filing fees for the premium processing, you could get it done in 15 calendar days. The premium processing fee was $2,500. Starting February 26th, the premium processing fee is increasing to $2,805 for all applications. In addition, the premium processing program was 15 calendar days. Starting April 1st, the premium processing program will be 15 business days instead of calendar days. Still much better than regular processing, but a little bit longer than it was before. Those are 3 big topics. I know I've covered a lot. I only hit the highlights. There's a lot more to each one of these topics than what I've covered. Please feel free to email me with any of your questions. Put them My email address is in the comments section to the events page. You can pick it up there and email me. It is much better than putting a question into the comments section of the LinkedIn page, because then everyone's confidential personal information will be kept confidential, and you won't have to worry about, bringing up personnel information publicly on LinkedIn. So feel free to email me. I will get back to you. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these topics. I'm here if you need me.